obsession, madness, nautical stuff, big fuck off sea monsters and shit. Fighting with big fuck off sea monsters and shit. It's fucking great. It's fucking epic. It's Mastodon with their classic Leviathan. Right, before I get started, 1,000 subscriber giveaway if you want to take part, it's up there, blah 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 blah. Now, this is the band's second album, or their third if you count Call of the Mastodon, and this was released on August the 31st 2004, and what a fucking great album it was. It still is. Mastodon have a bit of a reputation for the concept album, and this was the first of them. Remission, which preceded it, was much more of a sludge, grindy, metal affair. Oh God, I've got to learn how to say these things properly. Remission, though not a concept album, was the first of 4 albums that would be based around the elements. Remission was based around fire, Leviathan was water, Blood Mountain would be earth, and Crack the Sky would be ether. But the concept of Leviathan was essentially born when Bron Daler found himself, I think it was on a 30-hour flight, maybe from Australia or something like that, I'm guessing. But he was on the flight on his own, and he had nothing to do, but he did have a copy of Herman Melville's classic Moby Dick, which he read on the flight. And thus a very, very loose concept started to form. There was a correlation between Captain Ahab and his obsession for the white whale. The obsession to catch the white whale became all consuming. I think they tied it in kind of with their own quest, their musical quest, not for stardom, but to be musicians for a living, to be able to be successful and sustain themselves by touring and creating art, which indeed they did. There is actually a line in the book describing the whale as the salt sea mastodon. That must have resonated as well, I'm sure. I grew up on a steady diet of Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, the big 4 bands. Well, not so much Anthrax, but Pantera, obviously, Sepultura. Stuff like Devin Townsend, Strapping Young Lad, lots of sort of complex music. With the immersion of nu metal, which I think there was a lot of good stuff in nu metal. I'm not one of those people who turns their nose up at nu metal. I think there was some alright stuff. I even think Limp Bizkit did some okay stuff, so fuck you. But I had kind of gotten a little weary of guitar-based music around this time. I play guitar myself. I play mini instruments myself, actually. I kind of lost interest with the instrument. But then there was this band, Mastodon, around 2004, and it would have been the cover of Kerrang magazine. I remember seeing this band. They looked cool as fuck. Brent in particular, I remember him with his long flowing mane, this huge fuck off ginger beard, just looked like a fucking Viking. I just remember thinking, they looked really cool, which is how shallow I am. Everyone was basically saying just how incredible this new album was, this Leviathan album. You've got to check it out, which I did. I'd be lying if I said I got into it immediately, but when I did, fuck me. I mean, I'm doing a classic review on it now for a reason. It has gone on to become one of my all-time favourite albums, and definitely, single-handedly, the album that completely got me re-immersed in guitar-based music and complex music. Got me way back into metal and prog, and I've never looked back. The album was produced by Matt Bayliss, who also worked with the band on Remission and would go on to work with them on their equally awesome album, Blood Mountain. And the final thing that I want to mention before getting into the songs is the artwork. Mastodon are one of those bands that they have incredible album covers. The sort of artwork that you can just stare at for fucking hours, you know what I mean? Always kind of psychedelic, trippy. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? And they once again worked with an artist called Paul Romano, who's done work with Trivium. Who else has he done? I think he's done stuff with Baroness. No, Baroness do their own stuff. I'm not sure. He's done a lot of artwork you'd be aware of. Okay, a lot to get through and a lot to talk about. So, let's get straight into the songs. Blood and Thunder, the opening song. Now, this is the first Mastodon song that I ever heard, probably because it's the first song on the album. Chances are, even if you're not a Mastodon fan, that you probably know the opening riff to this song. Just a couple of chords, very sort of punk-like in a way. We do get a really nice harmonised guitar section later on in this song. Troy's vocals, my first introduction to those, fantastic. Without a doubt, one of my favourite vocalists. I love his voice. And Bron Daler nailing it behind the kit, destroying it. Such a beast. This song introduces us to Captain Ahab, or more specifically, his obsession with the whale, with catching the whale. I think that someone is trying to kill me, infecting my blood and destroying my mind. No man of the flesh could ever stop me. The fight for this fish is a fight to the death. White whale, holy grail. And particularly worth mentioning, what remorseless emperor commands me? I no longer govern my soul. I always loved that line. I no longer govern my soul. That loss of control, the loss to obsession, the loss to the single-mindedness, the vision of just conquering the whale. I love that line. I no longer govern my soul. So beautiful. I fucking love that. But this song also features a truly heroic performance from Mr. Neil Fallon of Clutch. The power in this guy's voice is fucking phenomenal. Spit your lungs with blood and thunder. When you see the white whale, break your backs and crack your oars, men, if you wish to prevail. This ivory leg is what propels me. Harpoons thrust in the sky. Aim directly for his crooked brow and look death straight in the eye. Yeah. Next up we have I Am A Hob. Now, in all honesty, I wasn't initially that impressed with Blood and Thunder. I thought it was a decent song, but nothing that blew me away. Of course, I love it now, but I Am A Hob took things up a notch for me. It's like the riffs on it. There was something different about the riffs. Not incredibly different, but, you know, a touch of something different I hadn't heard before. Now, I think this is about Captain Ahab preparing to set sail. But when I read 13 years to this day, red planet aligned, into sight 60,000 years of light, fascination with a mountain put to sea, built to slay and conquer all with teeth of beasts. I'll freely admit I haven't got a fucking clue. Great song though. Next up we have Sea Beast, one of my favourite songs of all time. I recently did my top 10 Mastodon songs. You should probably watch that. This was the song that really cemented the band as something different, something special for me. That opening creepy riff, just kind of haunting, kind of off-kilter time signatures in it as well. The first real introduction for me, anyway, to the play between Brent and Troy on vocals. Brent taking the verses and Troy doing the choruses, and it works really well. Brent sounds fantastic on this song. He really does. He's got a unique voice, that's for sure. Not everyone's cup of tea, kind of a feral, kind of Aussie kind of style in a way, but it works fantastically on this song, it really does. Dear Mr. Queeheg, you have been informed your life's been saved. You're welcome. You were not a vicious, black-hearted mess, so has been claimed. If this is the beast pulling us towards the east with mighty waves, let us look inside. Pull out all your pride. You know it's up to us. It's the closing riff that gets me every time. Fuck me, is that a good riff. I used to just repeat that bit over and over. Fuck off. Trying to explain a classic album and you're just fucking with me. You just keep fucking with me. I'm beginning to lose the light. Maybe this will be another one of those witty ones where I end up having to film the last part in the dark. Who knows? They're so fucking funny. Next up we have Island. I think this is actually Iceland because it has one of those squiggly bits above the eye. And it mentions Iceland in the song. Hail, people of Iceland! Journey of a land anew, ram as a liaison, vision, inspire and move. As I've never actually got through the entire book, I don't actually know what this is in reference to in terms of the actual story moving ahead, but it's packed full of fucking awesome lyrics and great riffs. as is the entirety of the album. Iron Tusk is up next. This was my first introduction to that Mastodon drop A tuning. I think they actually got it from bands like Neurosis and stuff like that, but this was the first time that I really heard that real low drop A tuning, as I just fucking said. Love the riffs on this song. Just huge, brutal, grooving riffs. Troy's vocals sound absolutely amazing. Bron, once again, fucking destroying shite. Destroying shit behind the kit. Behind the kit, he's destroying shit. There's a great harmony guitar section in this as well, which is not dissimilar to some Thin Lizzy. Kind of reminds me of that, which is, I know, one of the band's collective favourite bands, and definitely prevalent on this song. I assume that this is another battle with the whale, perhaps. Or something, some big fucker, some big fucking sea beast, you dirty bastard, lurking around. We can have you, you cunt. You've gone too far. Next up, we have Megalodon. Of course, the Megalodon is the now extinct big fuck-off version of the Great White. But despite the song's title, I believe it's actually more about mermaids. Pretty positive it is, because I found an interview with Troy. The myth of the Fiji mermaid is where the entire lyrics for Megalodon came from, said Troy. It's the exact opposite of the beautiful mermaids sitting on glistening rocks combing their hair. This isn't the case. These are the wickedly horrible, gnarly-faced Fiji mermaids. Dirty, dirty mermaids. Dirty whore mermaids. Ho mermaids. That chattered their teeth beyond your boat until you looked over the side and they drag you under and eat you. Oh. They're supposedly made of coral and bone. Stories like that, we find amazing. We do, Troy, we do. That's why we find you so amazing, Troy. Wonderful, what wonderful use of language. Myth or legend, nymph tale, washed ashore. Near the kraken sleepeth, stirs coral and bone. Infinite city, no sexy sneer. Hideous creation, human and animal. Better songs of rudeness to be adhered. Not on rocks that glisten, harps to listen, comb hair. Tear right to pieces, left to recess a watery grave. There's something in my fucking shoe. Now this song features some truly standout guitar work, but there's one piece in particular, anyone who's heard this song will know the bit that I'm talking about, when Brent kind of takes centre stage with this almost banjo style guitar lick. It stands out like a sore thumb, but it's so fucking great, it just comes out of nowhere. Before the entire band launches into this really heavy fucking driving riff that's not dissimilar actually to the heavy riff in Welcome Home Sanitarium by Metallica. That was not a good rendition of said riff. I'm approaching a bench now, so I think I'll just take a moment to enjoy this wonderful sunset on this wonderful day. Oh. Fun over. Next song, Naked Burn. Now, I'm actually a little reluctant to comment on the meaning for this one. There are without doubt nautical themes, and obviously this is a concept album about Moby Dick. But I do remember many years ago when I've actually found some stuff online when I was researching this as well. That's not the case. Not only are there nautical themes in this song, but there's also heavy religious themes, which I think there is in the book as well. But Brent actually in an interview said that this is actually about child abuse in the Catholic Church. And not only that, he's actually refused to play the song, actually hates the song. I think he regrets writing it and does not play the song live anymore. But so quite a heavy fucking song, this one. Regardless of its topic, this is actually a really great song. It's actually, weirdly enough, one of the most... It's kind of a pretty song in many ways as well, which is... I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd like to think this part of the story, but from what Brent was saying, it's actually a very, very dark one. But a good song nonetheless. Fantastic song. Next up we have Aqua Dementia, featuring Scott Kelly from Neurosis. Now, my research informs me, or one particular source that I decided to go with above a multitude of other sources that said otherwise, I think this is the beginning of the final encounter with the white whale. There's a whole bunch of characters I haven't bothered mentioning. The Picod is the ship that they're on. There's also a guy called Ishmael, who we'll get to in the next song. But I think this is the final battle with the whale, and during the battle, apparently in the book, there's a character called Pip who falls overboard, and while he's waiting to be rescued, he essentially goes insane. Hence, that noise would drive me insane. Oh God. But yeah, apparently he goes insane waiting to be rescued. Hence, Aqua Dementia. A few people have mentioned that it might have an environmental message to it as well, tagged on to the concept, which is nice of them. I think I do like a nice environmental message. We've only got one world, guys, let's take care of it. An invitation to clairvoyance. It's hard to stand around and watch while they ignore us. She is dumped on, used as an ashtray. Is that an environmental message? Are we using the world as an ashtray? Or is it harpoons going into the whale like cigarettes into an ashtray? There are some truly crazed, frenetic riffs on this one, and Brent sounds fucking feral. He just on this. And Scott Kelly just sounds awesome, as he always does. And it just so happens that the outro of this song is a suitably Neurosis-esque riff that suits very well. Neurosis were, of course, a huge inspiration on Mastodon. I probably should mention more of this, really. I believe the end of this song is the ship itself destroyed after its encounter with the white whale. And it segues seamlessly into the next song as we hear waves cascading, almost as though there's... it's fucking hell. Next song's Hearts Alive. This is a truly epic song. I think it's like 13 minutes 40 in length. And like Sea Beast, this is just one of those ones that I just never get sick of listening to. Despite its length, it goes by really quick, so much going on. You get the intro, which is kind of almost like a reference to Metallica's Call of Cthulhu. Much more intricate, much more going on in it. I haven't really mentioned Bill Kelleher at all, who's a phenomenal guitar player. His precision riffing is absolutely up there with Hetfield, in my opinion. But yeah, a nice clean acoustic almost style intro rolling on and on for a good 2 minutes, and we get a real nice meaty riff that kicks us off. And this song basically illustrates the aftermath of the battle from the previous song, and this is the crew pretty much descending to the depths of the sea to their death, Ahab included. The whale has been victorious, Ahab has failed, but Ishmael, who I mentioned earlier and never before, Ishmael is essentially the narrator of the book, and he's the sole survivor. Taken down with hearts alive, our hearts alive, lurking dark underground, descend to bottom, swim below eternally into the deep blue sea. Yes, the fate of the crew sealed. Haunting lyrics. I really love the way Mastodon can just paint a picture with words and with music and with artwork. Lots of things, really. But as I said, we have one sole survivor, Ishmael. Ocean coil, water boils, he swims to the surface. Truly takes you on a journey, this one. So many ebbs and flows. So many fucking... all four members just displaying how truly exceptionally talented they are. Troy's vocals are just outstanding. Brent joins in on the vocals at points as well, fantastic. Bill's guitar playing is absolutely fantastic. Bron, oh my god, such a great drummer, just an incredible drummer. And Brent again with some of his lead playing, some of the best stuff he's done. Absolutely phenomenal song. Like Sea Beast, this is one of those ones that just really, really cemented the idea of just what a special band Mastodon are, and what a fucking amazing album Leviathan is. But we have one more song. The final song of the album, Joseph Merrick. And this is an instrumental, and it's nothing to do with Moby Dick. Joseph Merrick, of course, was the Elephant Man, also known as John Merrick. And this continues a tradition that started on the previous album, Remission, and sadly ended on Blood Mountain. I wish they'd continue it because I love these songs. But they did 3 instrumental pieces, each based on the Elephant Man. On Remission we had the Elephant Man, fantastic instrumental piece. Leviathan, of course, we have Joseph Merrick, and on Blood Mountain we get Pendulous Skin, which is I think that was the condition that Joseph Merrick actually had, that he actually suffered from. But amazing instrumentals, each and every one of them. I'm actually going to do a separate video. I think it was Mr. One Singularity who recommended doing that. But yeah, I'm going to do a video on its own, squarely about those 3 individual instrumental songs, because I think with the history of the Elephant Man, I think there's a solid video there. So I'll do that sooner rather than later, probably. This song though is essentially an acoustic piece. Beautiful rolling guitars. We do you know, the whole band joins in on it, but it's kind of it's got a kind of sea shanty almost feel to it as well. So it does kind of fit in with the feel of the album. But yeah, it's about Joseph Merrick. Hence the name, Joseph Merrick, in the title, Joseph Merrick. So those are the songs. Now this album would go on to top the Album of the Year polls in a lot of publications. I know Kerrang, I'm pretty sure Metal Hammer, all those sorts of bands, all over the world. This is the one that really put the band on the map, and rightly so. Fucking great album. They go on to tour with Metallica, Slayer. They do all sorts of huge tours. I think maybe Slipknot and stuff like that. Anyway, they toured relentlessly for this album, long time, with some really big names. Really put themselves in front of a new audience, and would come back later with Blood Mountain, which I will also be doing a video about. Won't be for a little while now. I don't want to Mastodon everybody out, but I will definitely be doing a classic album review of Blood Mountain. But yeah, so that's Leviathan. Hope I've done it justice. It was certainly, again, fun putting this together. I really do enjoy doing these classic album reviews. I can't really figure out why I haven't done one for a little while. The next classic album review I'm going to do, the albums of my life, is going to be City by Strapping Young Lad. Really important album for me. My introduction to Devon Townsend. And yeah, I think it's one highly worth checking out. If any of you watched the Ocean Machine live review I did and checked it out and that wasn't to your taste, then City by Strapping Young Lad may very well be. Incredible album. I think I've waffled on more than enough. It's starting to get dark. I think it's time for me to get the fuck home. Now, if you like the video, because it does help me out. It really does help boost these videos a lot. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure that you share. Get the name out there. Let's build this channel up. And yeah, I shall see you next time. What a fucking lackluster, boring fucking